love lives here.
And that is the title for today's message, is the great work of your life. But before we get to that, let's do our focus statement, shall we? So, with all the V's, vim, vigor, velocity, vivaciousness, and voluptuousness, shouting it out loud and proud, here we go. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Whew. I love the invigoration. I love feeling that coming through each and every one of you and feeling it through the airwaves. It is wonderful to experience that. So here at Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, we are focusing this year on the theme of 2020 Global Vision. And this month's theme, the theme for the month of May, is listening to your heart, or listen to your heart. And as I mentioned a moment ago, today's talk title is The Great Work of Your Life. And there is a wonderful book by Stephen Cope that is by the same name, The Great Work of Your Life. And I invite you to get that book and read it. It is life-affirming and life-changing and uplifting and very inspiring. And in the great work of your life, what the great work of your life is and what it focuses on is it focuses on your Dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A, Dharma. And what might be Dharma? Well, Dharma is your life purpose. Dharma is your life calling. Dharma is that thing that wakes you up and calls you forward to be the greatest, highest expression of who you are. Dharma is that unique gift, that unique talent that you have that just wants to be shared with the world in a greater and more impactful and magnified way. That is what your Dharma is. And we each have a Dharma. We each have that within us, that divine purpose, that thing that wakes us up, that thing that just keeps driving and pulls us forward when we don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning, or that, pulls us forward when we think we are lacking some kind of creativity. It is that thing that is within us. It's the divine urge, if you will, that is within each one of us. It is a life force of its own, if you will. It's the way Spirit is trying to make itself known through and as you into this greater world. And so we can listen to it, or we can ignore it. But we know how that happens, what happens when we ignore it, right? When we ignore the call of Spirit, sometimes it's the tap on the shoulder or the little tickle with the feather, right? And then that still didn't get our attention. And so then maybe it's a little bit of a love tap, right? And then a 2x4, and then a brick wall or whatever. Something, it will get our attention. It will wake us up. It will call to us to be a greater expression of who we are. And that is when we talk about living our highest potential, emboldening people to live their highest potential, then that is part of that highest potential. And living our highest potential is living our Dharma, not our drama. No, not our drama, our Dharma. Right? Yeah, we don't need to be riding that the drama triangle. That's not a fun triangle to be riding, right? Giddy up on the drama horse. No, it's the Dharma. And here at Centers for Spiritual Living, you could say that we have a Dharma. We do have a purpose. And our purpose at Centers for Spiritual Living is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And one of the ways that we do this, or the primary way that we do this, is by providing practical spiritual tools and practices to help facilitate that, to help support and help guide, and really support people living their highest potential, to really support people in expressing their divine purpose, their spiritual magnificence. And here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, we have our focus statement of emboldening people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. This is perhaps our center's dharma. Our center's purpose is to embolden one another, embolden ourselves and embolden one another to really live full out, to really live on purpose, to really live with purpose, to really live as our purpose. Why have we been called here? What have we been called to raise up? What have we been called to magnify? We've been called to raise up and magnify the presence and the power and the transformative power of love. That's what we at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living have been called to magnify. That transformative power of love, of knowing that love is ever present with us. And when we lean into that love, when we lean into that presence, our lives transform, that we are transformed, that we then become change agents for everyone around us. We are in service, not only to ourselves, but we are in service to the greater community, to Riverside, to the inland valleys, to our state, to the world. This is what we are purposed with. This is what we have been tasked with. This is our sacred divine purpose, if you will. Yes? And so each one of us individually has this within us. And so we bring this collectively to who we are here together. And then we express that out into the world. One of the things that we know here at Centers for Spiritual Living, that we teach here at Centers for Spiritual Living, is that we are all one, right? That there is only one. There is no other. There is no separation. Therefore, not only am I one with the divine, not only are you one with the divine, not only are we one with the divine, but we are one with each other. We are interconnected with each other. We are interdependent with each other. That we live this life individualized, but collectively as a whole. We are all parts of the whole. And this is something that we here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we realize that. We understand that. And perhaps now we are seeing it and we are realizing it in a whole nother way, at a whole nother level. And what we're seeing today is we are seeing a great awakening around the world. We're seeing a great realization around the world to that interdependence, to that interconnectedness, to that oneness. And we here have the opportunity to fully take our place, our rightful place at the head of the line, leading the way, leading the pack, calling everybody forward. Come, join us, be part of this oneness, be part of what it is that we live and how we love and how we express in the world. Be part of this oneness. Realize that the kingdom, right? The kingdom, not the kingdom, the kingdom of God is within us. The kingdom of the divine is within us. And because we realize that, we can share that and express that and expand that in greater and greater ways. We have this beautiful, perfect opportunity here to lead with love, to lead as love. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and we are stepping forward into that greater yet to be, into that newness. And that can feel scary. Especially as we're doing this collectively, it can feel really scary. This newness, this forward movement. Well, it's like, oh, wow, I was really comfortable back there. I don't know about this moving forward business. My life was pretty good. My life was pretty comfortable. Perhaps this is what you've been thinking. Or, this is what a large group have been thinking. My life has been pretty comfortable. Things were working. I don't want to change. I don't want to move forward. I don't want to evolve. I want to go back to the way things were. I want to go back there. I was comfortable back there. Well, growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Growth happens when we move beyond that comfort zone. Growth happens when we listen to the call of Spirit on our hearts and it begins to move us forward. There's a whole bunch of people that are longing for the way things were, of going back to normal. There was no normal before. There was habituated patterns. There were systemic patterns. But was that really supporting Centers for Spiritual Living's greater vision of envisioning a world that works for everyone in all of creation? No, it wasn't. So we have this opportunity here, this great awakening here, to really step into and lean into our spiritual practices, lean into our faith, lean into our evolution, and move forward with grace, move forward with curiosity, to step into the new, to step forward. And it's not necessarily easy. It's not. Because there's a lot of uncertainty in moving forward, isn't there? We don't really know where we're going. We only know where we've been, but we don't know really where we're going. There's no clear roadmap to where we're going. So the opportunity that we have in the here and now is to lean into the discomfort of not knowing. And what that is, leaning into that discomfort of not knowing, is also what we call leaning into our faith. Leaning into the discomfort and being fully present with that discomfort, being fully present with that not knowing, and spending time there, getting still there, allows us to get still enough for answers to begin to emerge, for something new to begin to emerge. We need to be comfortable in our discomfort long enough so that new thoughts and new ideas can emerge and be planted into the seat of consciousness, be planted into that creative medium. We need to sit and be present with what is to allow the greater what is yet to be to emerge. We need to sit in the stillness and in the silence. Because social media and television and print and the world around us can create a lot of noise, can create a lot of confusion. That noise creates this big cacophony, perhaps, that just kind of drowns out our individual voice. It drowns out that still small voice within, if we allow it to. So we have the opportunity to sit in our discomfort. We have the opportunity to sit still and become quiet and turn within, and then allow Spirit, allow the divine idea, allow the creative urge, allow your purpose to come forth and to emerge. By being present, being quiet, being still. And what we know is that the divine urge, the divine purpose is not just for you alone. It's not just for me alone. It is part of the greater whole. So the deepest self-care that we can participate in, and that is also caring for others, caring for the whole. It is sharing who we are. It is sharing our gifts. It is sharing our presence with the world. Not just our presence, but our presence with the world. And so you may be thinking, well, what do I have to give? What do I have to give? You know, it's really been interesting as we have been moving through this time of sheltering and grace. We see folks that are like at one end of the extremes, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to learn a new language and I'm going to learn how to make sourdough bread from scratch. And I'm going to create all of these exciting things and all of these wonderful things. And I'm gonna, and filling the time with the busyness of life, you know, so that maybe perhaps we're not hearing, right? That we're going way off the deep end. And then if we don't do those things, then, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. I did not learn how to, you know, say good morning in Japanese. That's ohayou gozaimasu, by the way. I did not learn how to make bread. So now I'm a failure. I emerged from this time having wasted my time doing nothing. I had all these goals and ideas and aspirations and I didn't do any of them. So there are folks that are already experiencing this, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, that was, you know, that was a missed opportunity, and right? So that's really not a healthy way of approaching this, right? And then we have folks that's like, you know, I'm staying in bed today. I'm staying in bed. I'm not getting up. I'm not getting a shower. I'm really not hungry. And that's a valid place to be. It's a real place to be. But it's also not a healthy place to be. Healthy is somewhere in the middle, having realistic expectations, realistic goals, and being compassionate with ourselves as well. Each one of us has a gift. Each one of us has an opportunity. Each one of us has the opportunity as well to be gentle with ourselves and to be gentle with one another, to have compassion. Because this process that we are moving through requires both activity and leaning in and rest, not a falling back. Notice the difference in body language. There's a moving in and resting, moving in and resting, moving in and resting. The movement is always forward, and the pause is where we recharge and we rejuvenate. We rebalance, if you will. We get a clearer and surer footing as we move forward. But it's always a call forward. And it is a call forward with greater opportunity to share and to be present with one another. If we're feeling disconnected, we have the opportunity to pick up the phone and call each other. If we are wanting to explore new things, we have the opportunity to do that in new and creative ways. We also have the opportunity just to be gentle with ourselves. And you know what? Some days, that is absolutely perfect. That is enough. That is in service to who you are and to your divine purpose. It's completely in service to that. So the great work of your life is an ongoing thing. It is a calling. It is a divine purpose. And so we have the opportunity here to sit and be present with that, to explore it. And then on some days to sit on the couch and watch TV. But what we have the opportunity to do is to trust and know that it is all in service to our divine unfoldment. All of it is in service to our divine unfoldment as a collective, because once again, there is only one here and we are interconnected, we are intertwined, we are all sisters, brothers, and siblings, on this journey through life, on this journey here and now, on this journey of divine unfoldment, on this journey of awakening to our spiritual magnificence, on this journey of awakening and moving into the greater yet to be. This is a great awakening and a great realization. So my question for you this day is, how are you contributing? How are you contributing to creating a world that works for everyone in all of creation? How are you contributing today? How are you contributing to a world that works for everyone and all of creation? What is your piece of the larger Dharma? What is your unique gift, your unique talent, your unique presence that you are bringing forth and sharing? What is that uniqueness? What are you giving? What are you willing to give? Now, again, don't think that it has to be something like grandiose, like, oh, today I'm going to write a new song, or today I'm going to record 15 meditations, or today I'm going to go out and I'm going to sew 100 masks, right? Those are all wonderful things. And if that's the energy that you have for this day, then hey, go for it. But it could be something as simple as, you know what? Today, I'm going to go out and I'm going to tend to my rose garden. Today, I'm going to make a vase. I'm going to cut some flowers and put it in a vase and put it in the center of my table. That is what is an essential service for me this day, is to create beauty in my environment. Today, I'm going to take chalk and I'm going to go out front and write inspiring messages for people who are walking by my house. Today, I'm going to shower. All of it is in service to the great unfoldment. All of it is in service to your individual dharma, to your individual purpose, and all of it is in service to the larger purpose, the larger dharma, the evolution that we are experiencing, the great awakening that we are experiencing. So what are you doing today? How are you contributing today? Go ahead and put it in the comments. Let's see how you are choosing to contribute this day. What is your unique, special contribution this day? Like I said, it doesn't have to be big, grandiose. It can be small. Because no act is too small. No act is too insignificant to affect change, to move the planet, move the consciousness of society forward. No act is too small. No act is too insignificant. What are you doing today? Denise is documenting beauty with her photography, writing poetry, reaching out to find a caretaker for her mom. Vicky's practicing forgiveness. Marty working on being kinder. Beautiful. It just starts. Just the simplest thing. It starts right here. And in taking this action, taking these actions, move us forward. These actions are part of the great work of your life. How beautiful and magnificent it is to know that. How beautiful and magnificent it is to participate in that. So today, be gentle with yourself, contributing by connecting to family, being loving and supportive. Yes. We are in this together. We have shown up in this time, in this space for a reason, for a purpose, acknowledging my worth, being loving and supportive. Yes, that we have shown up in this time and this space for a purpose. We are the ones being called right here and right now to advance the evolution of consciousness on the planet, to let go of all of those things that were before and to establish and to create something new and beautiful. Michelle says that she's walking Joey further and checking on her neighbors. Casey is letting go of a personal highest number of steps, trying to get a personal highest number of steps. Sharing time is what Tommy is saying, right? So each one of these things is advancing us forward. It is letting the old go, and it is stepping into the new. It is leaning into the new. It is leaning into the evolutionary. It is leaning forward and raising us up, letting go of all those things that no longer serve, letting them go. We are creating a new earth. We are creating a new heaven right here and now. This is what we have been called to do, individually and collectively. This is our collective dharma. Can you breathe that in? Can you feel the power of that? Walking Joey a little bit further, Michelle, leans into and raises the consciousness of the planet. It lifts everybody higher. Sharing time, being open to inspiration and action can, yes. Making ourselves available to it. It is all advancing us individually and collectively in the great work of our lives. So I hope you will join me in accepting this mission, accepting this purpose to move forward in love, to transform the world as we know it through the transformative power of love. This is what we're here to do. This is why we've been called to this time. This is our divine high right purpose. This is our dharma, our collective dharma. So breathe that in and feel it, and let's come together in prayer. I recognize here and now that there simply is only this one life, this one infinite eternal power and presence that moves and expresses itself in, through, and as all of creation. It is the high consciousness. It is the all consciousness. It is the all in all that is, that simply is all that there is. It is the great I am that I am. There is only this one life expressing, bringing forth through itself, as itself, all of creation. Everything is a divine emanation and impartation of this one life. And there is this divine urge, there is this divine call to continue to express, continue to expand, continue to move forward in greater and greater ways. And that is the call upon my life. That is the who of who I am. This divine urge expresses itself in and through and as me and as all of life, as each person present here this day. We are all one with the one. We are interconnected with one another. There is nothing that I do that does not affect one another, somebody else. We are all interdependent with each other. And so therefore, I recognize that here and now, that as I say yes to life, as I say yes to that divine call upon my life, as I step forward, I do so as a beneficial presence for everyone, not only myself, but for everyone. There is a collective wholeness, a collective unity here that is moving forward as I move forward. I recognize that each one of us is a light bearer, is a way shower, calling our brothers and sisters forward in this, calling more and more people to awaken to their spiritual magnificence, awaken their humanity to their spiritual magnificence, calling them forward so that they are living their highest potential, calling them forward so that they can live in this and experience this transformation that we know happens through this power of love, calling them forth, calling each other higher, calling each other in, as we recognize that we are truly held and embraced in this divinity, held and embraced in this love that we are, this love that we share. And so we release all that was before. We step into this newness, curious. We step into this newness, comfortable in our discomfort. We step into this newness with a willingness to learn, a willingness to grow, a willingness to be in community, in communion with one another in greater and greater ways, to be present with one another. We move forward, keeping our collective global body healthy by keeping our minds healthy, our spirits healthy, and our bodies healthy. We take active measures to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and we are protecting each other. And recognizing that anything that is coming our way in service to the divine unfoldment of life. We are the ones we have been waiting for. And I give thanks. I give thanks for this collective love of my brothers and sisters and siblings. I give thanks for each and every one present here this day. I give thanks for our collective awakening, our global realization of our oneness, of our unity, of our love. And so I release this word into the law, knowing that it is done, knowing that it is absolutely complete. I let it be, and together we affirm, and so it is.
Love lives here.